Thanks, Rick. Well, the soybean harvest is now underway, and thanks to higher prices, Georgia acreage for this crop has seen a slight increase in 2012. Damon Jones traveled to one farm in Wrightsville, Georgia, where the soybeans are up while the amount of kudzu bugs are down. Here's his report.
When talking soybeans in the state of Georgia, Washington County farmer Glenn Waller is one of the first names that come to mind. And that's no different this year, as he expects yet another big yield despite a lack of rain in the area.
And most of mine's irrigated now. If I hadn't had the irrigation, they wouldn't have been near as good, because I have a few dry limbs, and they probably, I'd say 20, 25 bushel. And I'm hoping these will make 60, 65, what we're looking at here.
However, that hasn't been a major problem for most of the producers, which should result in a big harvest for the entire state as well.
Well, the crop's pretty good this year. We've had sufficient rainfall, if not a lot of rainfall in a lot of places. This particular area here hadn't had as much rainfall as others, but in all, I think we've had a pretty good soybean crop this year. Hopefully we can harvest it and get that potential that's out there.
Over the past few years, the amount of soybean acres in Georgia have been on a sharp decline, including a more than 40% drop last season. However, with the crop now fetching more than $15 per bushel, farmers might be more inclined to give soybeans a shot.
Soybean crop looks real good this year. Of course, with the higher price, I think we've seen more interest in growing soybeans. We've got few more acres planted this year. Weather conditions has been making the crop kind of questionable early on, but I think it's going to come back, and we're should have a pretty good harvest off of it, pretty good yield.
We saw acres go up a little bit this year. I think the big jump may be next year. You know, prices are definitely attractive to soybean growers, and probably will entice some growers that don't have a lot of soybeans to plant some more next year. The acreage of soybeans is going to relate to what these other commodities bring, and we'll kind of sort that out this winter.
And the major concern for soybean producers over the past couple of years has been a rise in the kudzu bug population. After coming over from Asia back in 2009, this pest has caused major damage to the crops in the past. It's a problem the University of Georgia is taking very seriously.
The kudzu bug, as Mr. Glenn mentioned, has been an issue for a lot of soybean producers, but our entomologists have done a great job trying to figure out, when to spray, and I think we've done a good job spraying at the right time to control that pest, and it hadn't been as big an issue as we've seen, although it is going to be an issue for now and in the future.
And that research has gone a long way into alleviating the problem on this farm, as proper timing and a proactive approach has considerably knocked down the kudzu bug population.
Well, I started out early on the kudzu bug. I wasn't going to let him get ahead of me this year if I could help it. And I sprayed early, and seems to really work on them early.
And speaking of research, Waller's Farm has become a testing ground for the University of Georgia, as more than 10 different varieties have been planted. It's a process that has produced invaluable information on the crop in this area of the state.
It's extremely important that we look at new varieties and see how they fit in our production here. Mr. Glenn takes the variety trial information and uses that to make certain variety decisions, as well as other producers across this area.
Oh yeah, this variety here came out of those plots. What I've planted for several years, to keep changing new varieties, and I go with the one it looks the best on my farm and yields the best, and the ones that I like.
For the Georgia Farm Monitor, I'm Damon Jones.